Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Connor Williams, and we're back with another one of our 24/7 news report videos. As always, we start the news video with our headline news, and the headline news this evening is that Everton are interested in Wolves midfielder Leander Dendoncker. Everton are ready to explore this move in the next week. His contract at Wolves expires in 2023 with options for a further season. This has come from Fabrizio Romano. Like I said the other day, and I say it all the time, we do run polls on the Toffee Blues Twitter account. If you're not following, the link will be in the description down below. Go follow it. When we break the news on the tweet, just the first reply under it should be the poll. That's where you can get your vote. We said, would you take Leander Dendoncker at Everton? So far, 2,242 of you have voted. There's still 15 hours left on that poll. 72.3% said yes, myself included. 27.7% said no. Listen, I said, yeah, I actually really liked him before he went to Wolves. He's one of those FM wonder kid type things. I'm not surprised he's linked. Apparently fell well, did nothing but talk about him from the day he was at the Wolves to the day he left Wolves. Felwell's a massive, massive fan of Dendoncker. Can play CDM in a 6, can play in the back 4 at centre-back. I like him. I've seen the stats going around, and I do love stats, and they're not looking good for him in terms of his passing. But I don't think he's that type of player. He's not your deep lying playmaker that'd sit at the pivot and spray the balls. He literally would be your chase it down, destroyer, get the ball. Then if he's got two or even someone else alongside him, lay it onto the better ball player, let the better ball player pick out the passes. He would be, to quote a former Everton man, it's the basics of football. He would very much be the basics of win the ball, lay it off. That's your job. Win the ball, lay it off to your nearest man. That's it. Don't try and drag it out from the midfield. Play it nice and simple. The basics of football. Get them right, and he'll be sound. And he does do the basics well. Also, guys, we've got to be realistic. I know everyone wanted Florian Grealish, who looked really good, but he's going to Brighton. We've got to be realistic now, guys. The ground is wearing very thin on options. We do need a type of player like this. So I think we need to go and get him realistically, because these options are going very thin on the ground the longer we wait. We also have the news that Everton are interested in Chelsea midfielder Ross Barkley. The interest is more driven by Frank Lampard than the club themselves. They would ideally want to loan him. That's come via, I believe it's Simon Phillips, possibly of the Eye. Simon Phillips is a Chelsea FC fan writer, does podcast host for Talk Chelsea. This is going to make him a bit unpopular, isn't it? I don't think Barkley, I've said this in the last video, I don't think he actually gives anything to us, contributes, etc., etc. I don't think he's that good either. I don't know why Lampard, other than desperation. I'm not surprised the club don't want him, because the club, for all that they hired Benitez last season, the club are probably well aware now not to wind the fans up any more than needs be, especially with the protesting going on. I imagine the club, you can call it, some people will call it daft to read into it that much, but I imagine they don't want to antagonise the fans any more than they have been. And this after the Benitez appointment would literally be, the bottom of the barrel. And also he did mug off the club in a way as well. So I wouldn't be surprised that the club aren't that bothered. Lampard, though, listen, he's not popular with the fans. He's not popular with the club then, clearly, if they don't want him. You're really going to stick your neck out on the line for a player that's Ross Barkley. I think it's incredibly brave, maybe even borderline silly behaviour. You're going to stick your neck out. You've got to make sure he brings up the trumps. And I don't think Ross Barkley's going to back him up in this. It's a real, I'm going to go with brave and give him the courtesy of the doubt, but I think it could be a very, very silly move for Lampard. I can't see fans backing him. Coincidentally, we also ran a poll, would you take Ross Barkley back at Everton? This was a lot closer than I thought. 4,935 of you voted. It's still open for 16 hours. 50.9% said yeah, myself, and 49.1% of the others said no. I know one of the first comments is we have to be realistic. I've said this before, so I'm not going to go into. If you want to know, you can go back to the old news video when this first broke. It's not that how he left the club. It's not anything to do with that. If you take all that aside, somebody tell me what he's actually done since he left Everton to warrant a move back. That's all I want. We'll keep the emotion out of it and be, that's fine. Tell me what he's done since leaving Everton, and name one. I can only name the Villa-Liverpool game. Name another game after that where he's actually impressed you and thought, my God, that was the player that we thought we had at Everton. And I'll listen, and I'll look forward to reading it if you can. If you're in the comments defending Barkley coming back, love to know. I cannot think of one game where I've looked at him and gone, I really do wish he hadn't gone. He's one of those ones that when he went, I've looked back now and thought, don't know what the big fuss was about when he left. He's not that good, He's got proper Drinkwater vibes about him at Chelsea. Went there, knocked it on, probably leave there on a free, getting hardly any game time. But I'm sure some of you that are back in Barkley will let me know in the comments why you want him. I just don't. I think there's more creative midfielders out there as well. I think I'd rather I'll probably even take Billy Gilmour, which coincidentally leads me on to the next one. Frank Lampard has been given the green light to sign Billy Gilmour on loan. That's come via Talksport. I'd much prefer this to Barkley. Really prefer this. Again, Gilmour though, I'm not 100% sold on. I think he has the potential to struggle at Everton. I see a lot of people go, he's a really good player in a high possession team where you're going to keep the ball 70% of the time, etc., etc. That's not us. If that's what Lampard wants to try, more credit to him. Again, brave. But we're a direct football team because we don't have the players and the concentration and the ability to be a high possessive side. I want Billy Gilmour to do well. He was when he played under Lampard at Chelsea, he was enjoying himself. He looked really good. Went to Norwich, really struggled. And let's just be realistic. That's a big depth in the quality. That Chelsea team was very, very good. Norwich were very, very poor. We're probably about here in this, maybe even there, maybe I'm being a bit generous. So he won't, he's not going to be the Chelsea Billy Gilmour because he's not got the good quality of players around him again. I think he has potential to struggle. But I like him more than Barkley. So it's not even, is he better than what we've got? It's more, is he better than the other options we're looking at, which is sad times. Really sad. And I wouldn't mind, but like I said, Florian Grealish has gone to Brighton, and there are other players I've seen go into Marco Rocca, go into Leeds. There were better options for the club to grab, and for whatever reason, we seem to only want to look at former Premier League players. Everton have cooled down their interest in Rodrigo Bacau after hearing the valuation of 10 to 15 million euros. That's come from Toto Udinese. 10, 15 million. We are really bargain basement shopping, aren't we? Probably the reality is that he didn't play in the Premier League, so that's why we're not looking at him. He's not proven. It's a disappointing that one, but we're still out for centre backs, aren't we? We're linked with a couple more. We'll have to wait and see what happens there in terms of our centre backs. But we've got Tarkowski, we've got Mina, we've got Michael Keane. Who I'm sure after the Minnesota game, some of you are absolutely here. We still got him. I get his calamity, but I'm only mentioning him because we do have an influence of centre back. We've still got Mason Holgate at the club. Some of these are going to have to leave for others to come in. But it's easier said than done. What do you do if nobody's interested in what you've got? You can't sell what nobody wants, can you? We have the news as well that Everton are interested in Alassane Plea. The Borussia Mönchengladbach forward scored 10 goals and registered 8 assists in the Bundesliga last season. They're hoping to sell him in the summer as he wants to be in the France World Cup squad. L'Equipe have claimed that the Toffees, along with Nice and Marseille, are weighing up a move for the 29-year-old, with Everton described to be following the situation closely. Commenting on the price Plea could be available for, the report adds no more than 8 million. Decent enough player. I think he will do. He's better than Rondon off the bench. He'll do well when we need him. He'll obviously want a bit more football, and I think we will offer him. I think we're fully on the Dominic Calvert-Lewin train. But he's a decent enough player, don't get me wrong. I've seen bits of him and I like the look of him. I think he'll be very useful for this squad, and for no more than 8 million, I think he's worth the gamble. He's 29, but he's going to really want to push now in that World Cup squad, which makes it better. He's hungry. He's got a motive. He's got a reason to want to be here. Yeah, I hope that for 8 million, that's an all right one, to be honest. We also have that Anthony Gordon's opened up about his Everton ambitions. He's ready to take on more responsibility as he prepares to build on his breakthrough year at Everton. Obviously, last season, he was one of the few heads that can hold themselves high. He's been rewarded with the number 10 shirt, and he said he understands that he will start the upcoming season with more responsibility than he's ever had. That includes providing inspiration and guidance to the batch of talented academy prospects following in his footsteps. Speaking exclusively to the Echo, Gordon said that he was aware of the increased pressure and scrutiny on him after he cemented his first team place as a regular. Ready for the challenge, he said, I'm really excited. I feel like I've got a lot of responsibility on my shoulders, which I'm ready for. I'm really excited. I can't wait. The right attitude. I can't really say much more than it's the right attitude. He's right. He will have a bit more pressure and scrutiny, but he seems to be relishing the challenge, which is great to see. Hopefully he can build on what was a good breakout season. And then finally, we have the Crystal Palace have a strong interest in signing Wolves midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White. Wolves are unlikely to sell him this summer unless they receive a very big offer. That has come via Darren, who is a sports writer, desk editor for the Guardian Sport. I can't see him leaving Wolves, in all honesty. Wolves want big money for him. I can't see him leaving Wolves. If they're going to play him, which I think they probably promised him, he will. He's in, he was involved in a pre-season last night or the other day, so he's involved in Bruno Lage's plans. I honestly can't see him leaving, guys. I don't think Crystal Palace are going to meet the high valuation, and I definitely don't think we will. We've just said we're not going to buy a centre-back because he's worth 10 million euros. We're definitely not going to break it for him. Either that or we're just being smart. I think we've got money to spend. I just don't think we've got a lot of it. And I think the problem we've got at Everton at the minute is not a lot of money, a fair chunk, don't get me wrong. I think we have probably got like around 50, 60 of Richarlison money to spend, maybe like a little bit around that figure of money. Problem with Everton is, though, we also need about 5 or 60 players. So they're not going to go, right, 30 million on one player, and there's half the budget gone. I think we're trying to buy as much as we can with the money we've got. But that is all I've got time for. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Comment down below your thoughts on anything I've spoken about, the Morgan Gibbs-White situation. Ross Barkley, I'm sure that one will split the comments like it split the poll. Let me know about that down below. Alassane Play as well. That one's an interesting one. Dendoncker, let me know your thoughts on him. If you've watched much of Wolves, let me know what you think of him. I quite like him, but I'm interested to see what you guys say. Stay safe. I'll see you guys very, very soon.